What's up guys, my name is Zach and today I am driving a 2019 Acura ILX A-Spec. Up front is a 2.4 liter inline 4 and down below is an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this here ILX for two main reasons. First of all, I've never driven one here on the channel and I'm always trying to bring you guys new and cool cars. But the second reason and more important reason is that I have driven this car's successor, the Acura Integra, for 2023. So we're here to find out if Acura improved on this design with the new Integra or if the past was truly better. But before we get on to anything else, I have a website, zackpradel.com, where you could buy stickers and other merchandise when it becomes available. You could also submit your own vehicle to be reviewed by me through a quick and easy submission form, and you get a video of your car, just like this one, and you could read my behind-the-scenes blog to see what I'm filming before it comes out on the channel. But let's get back to that 2.4 liter inline 4 under the hood, making 201 horsepower. Well, that is my first favorite part of this car, the 2.4 liter. It's from the K engine family of Honda, and these things are not only reliable, but they make a good amount of horsepower for what they are. So we'll put into sport here. It's not melting my face off, but it is good. It makes a good amount of power, and it's a lot torquier than the 1.5 liter turbos that you find in modern Acuras, and I really like that about the car. The K-Series from Honda and Acura has been a tried and true engine. They've used it in like the CR-Vs. They used to use them in the Civics. They used to use them in the Accord. So many different vehicles got this engine, and I think it's one of the best engines to come out of Honda in the last 20 years. I really enjoy it. Now, like I said, paired to it, 8-speed dual clutch automatic transmission. This is my second favorite part of the ILX because it is not a CVT. Honda and Acura are going towards CVT, meaning continuously variable transmissions, for their automatics. I don't like those transmissions, so this is a tried and true actual 8-speed. It shifts pretty well, it's right there, and I know that it's going to be a lot more durable than a CVT, so I really like that. Last but not least, of course, the ILX is front-wheel drive. There was no all-wheel drive offered. So that's stuff out of the way. Let's talk about the interior. Now, this is going to be my less favorite parts of the ILX, so let's dig into it. In front of me, I have 4 physical gauges and a screen. On the left, I have my coolant temperature and tachometer. On the right, I have my speedometer and fuel. And then in the center, I get a typical little screen giving me a bunch of really solid information. I am a big fan of it. However, it doesn't have a whole lot of colors. Something I would have wished to have seen out of a vehicle like this was maybe some different colors or graphics to make me feel special, but alas, that's okay. But on the steering wheel on the left, I have my volume, mode, channel, and phone options. And off to the right, I have my cruise control options, lane keep assist, and radar cruise, as well as my selectors for that gauge screen we just talked about. The steering wheel does say A-Spec on the bottom. It has paddle shifters. However, it is slightly dated for a 2019 model, but that's a running theme with the interior of this car as a whole. Let's cut to a quick interior shot. If you had to guess what year this car came out, it would probably be 2010, 2011. And although the ILX did debut in 2012, I don't want to be driving something from 7 years after that and still feel like it was the original conception. I want something more updated and modern, and Acura didn't give us that with this interior. Now, an argument could be made that they knew the Integra was on the horizon, so they just saved all of their new stuff for that, but still, I'm allowed to complain. Off to the left, I do have a climate control vent, as well as my traction control on and off, lane keep assist, and pre-collision warning on and off. And then moving on to the door, this is the first inclination that you get that it does have some red interior accents, which I really like, but you do get memory seat options, as well as power mirrors, power locks, and power windows. Moving into the center, we do have 2 infotainment screens. So the upper infotainment screen, this is for pairing your device, navigation, things like that. I really really do not like this dual screen setup. I don't think there's a car that I've driven where two screens really worked well, because oftentimes they differ in technology. One of them is a lot more new, a lot more modern than the other one, and that's the case here as well. It just makes the interior feel dated overall. However, we do get a backup camera per the government requiring them in 2018, and I can change the view of them. Honda has always been very good about giving you fisheye views and straight down views and things like that, so no worries there. And this does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Then I do have some buttons and selectors for those screens. I have phone, info, smartphone settings, brightness, back, and then I have this nice knob in the middle for selecting. I actually really like the tactile feedback of the knob. I think it works really well, and for it being what it is, I can't complain too much. Then I do have some physical climate controls down below. Really love that because I don't like climate controls in screens. So I have auto off to left, sync off to the right, so I do get dual zone, and then just very typical where to send it, fan speed, all of those goodies. Then I do get a little garage door cubby, along with two heated seat options for the driver and passenger. And then we come to the shifter itself. Again, I've seen this shifter in a lot of other Honda products. Looks rather dated, however, I think it looks fine here in the ILX. Then we do have cup holders, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test here in the 2019 Acura ILX A-Spec. And you know what? I'm going to give it a pass. I am going to pass the ILX. It doesn't sit all the way flush down, but it sits enough where I can take a corner and it's not going to fly out. So, as Hondas have always been good at in the past, the ILX passes the big friggin' bottle test, meaning it's also the first pass of 2023. Then I do get a center console and armrest, also finished in red leather, along with the seats are finished in red leather. I really, really like the seats. I think they look fantastic, and they do have higher bolsters on the side for a more sporty feel, which I really enjoy, but I'm also a big guy, and I still fit in them. The Civic Type R, I don't really fit in those seats all that well. So it's nice to see these. These are a very comfortable middle ground. But speaking of seats, we do have back seats. So let's go do a backseat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2019 Acura ILX on this rather dark day. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it to be this dark. It's the winter. It gets really dark soon. Anyway, we're in the back of the ILX, and my knees are hitting the seat in front of me. My head is hitting the ceiling. This is where you really notice that this is a compact car. Now, when you buy one of these, you fully expect to not use the back seats all that often. Maybe when you have to drive a niece or nephew to school, or any other reason, you're not going to be using the back seats all the time. If you are, I would look at other vehicles like the TL, TSX, or go down to Honda and get an Accord, things like that. So, not fantastic back seats, but when I am back here, I do get a grab handle, which is nice, and I do get a center console, two cup holders there. Nothing really too crazy to write home about. Let's hop out. Let's take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. So something really nice about the ILX is that I can keep the keys in my pocket. See, here's one hand, here's the other hand. Don't have any keys on my hand, and I can just touch that button and pull it up like that. Really, really nice. I can keep it in my pocket. But once we are back here, plenty of space in the back of the ILX. Now, the Integra is a hatchback. Theoretically, that would get more space, but really, you don't miss it all that much. Tons and tons of space in the back of the ILX. I really, really like that. For it being a compact, they really didn't sacrifice the space back here, and that's a big win. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I think the ILX is really, really handsome. I think it's a really good looking car. I really enjoy the 4 LED headlights, the diffuser at the back that comes with the A-Spec. The A-Spec also gets bigger wheels, a little bit more aggressive stance, and overall, I think this car looks really, really good. I think Acura did one heck of a job when designing it. I think it has presence, but it's also still a compact. It's not overstated. It's not punching above its weight class. And overall, I just think the exterior really knocks it out of the ballpark. But speaking of the exterior, this car, to me, really looks like the new Integra, or more so the new Integra looks like this car. So with that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the ILX? Well, let's get my base feelings out of the way. I really, really enjoy it. I think it has a good driving experience. I love the 2.4 liter. I love the 8-speed auto. It has great handling feel. I can take a corner without feeling like wet jello. I'm comfortable in here. Now, the interior is pretty outdated, but I can live with that. I can accept that, and honestly, once I get over it in about 15 minutes, I probably won't think about it again. But how does this compare to the vehicle that replaced it in the Ohio assembly line, the new Acura Integra? Well, this car is better. The ILX is better than the Integra, and let me tell you why. The Integra has a 1.5-liter turbo, making 1 less horsepower than this car. The Integra makes 200, this makes 201. Now, that's pennies, but the Integra's 1.5-liter turbo, the Earth Dreams turbo engine, has been known and documented to have oil consumption issues. After about 50,000 miles, they start consuming oil, where it's something you might have to keep an eye on. This has that K24, that 2.4-liter. It's a solid engine. It's going to last longer than the 1.5-liter. But okay, let's put the engine aside. Let's talk about the transmission. Well, the Integra that I drove was a manual, and unfortunately, this is not the manual. Although they did offer ILXs with manuals up until 2015, they canceled it that year, and they didn't make a manual transmission until the new Integra in 2022. So I can't directly compare the feel of the Integra's manual to the feeling of the automatic here in the ILX, but what I can say is that if you get an automatic Integra, it comes with a CVT, and I really dislike CVTs. They don't have quite the reliability of more traditional automatics, but in terms of feeling and reliability, I prefer this here 8-speed automatic. So okay, let's get the drivetrain out of the way. Let's put that to the side. What makes this so much better than the Integra? Well, at that point, you get all the great looks, you get the great styling cues. I think they look very similar, and they're both very handsome cars. This car you can spec with a red interior, and this car just feels more known. You know, the Integra is kind of wandering out into no man's land, but this has all of the components of vehicles that I've come to know and love and spent so much time with. This car feels familiar, and I like that a lot. This car will go the extra mile where I don't know if the new Integra will. Factor in all of that, the Integra is a brand new car. This is a used car. You can find this on used car lots at pretty hefty discounts over the Integra, and you're losing what? The name? Okay, to be fair, the Integra is a hatchback while this isn't, but honestly, with this big trunk, I wouldn't even notice. Huge thank you to Sean for letting me take out his ILX. This thing was really cool. Finally, I get to cross this car off of my list of vehicles to drive. Really great experience. Sean has been fantastic to work with, very knowledgeable about these cars. He's a fellow car enthusiast, and it's always nice to chat with like-minded people. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.